Welcome to a new episode of Bravo Charlie's. Today we are going to make a deep dish margarita pizza in a cast iron skillet. This is going to go under our broiler, and this is going to be a two-step process. So before we get started, let me explain this to you real quick. So what we're going to do is fill this 12-inch cast iron skillet with an entire loaf of Italian bread dough. So I just went to my local bakery and bought a loaf of uncooked dough. You can make the dough at home by all means. Sometimes I look for shortcuts, and grabbing a loaf of uncooked dough at your bakery for $2 or $2.99 is a shortcut. So we're going to put the dough in, we're going to spread it out, get it stretched out to where it's a 12-inch piece of pizza dough. It's going to go in here. It's going to go under our broiler on low. Now, if you don't have a setting on your gas stove for low or high on the broiler, it's going to be between 2 and 4 minutes. So if you don't have that setting for low and you're only on high, watch it for about 2 to 3 minutes. As soon as the top of the crust starts to brown, pull it out. Then we are going to flip the crust in the pan, and we are going to add our toppings. Since this is a margarita pizza, it's going to be simple. I have San Marzano tomatoes. Now, I don't like, on my margarita pizza, I don't like chunky tomatoes. So what I did was took the San Marzano whole peeled tomatoes, and that is an excellent brand, or that's an excellent type of tomato if you're going to put it in or on a pizza like this where tomato is the star of the dish. That tomato sauce is a star. It's not buried in among other ingredients like lasagna or something like that. With this, it's dough, sauce, basil, and cheese. So each ingredient has to be good. San Marzano is the way to go. You'll find them in the Italian section of your grocery store, or a ethnic grocery store that sells Italian and Greek type foods. You'll find this in the Italian section. I pulse mine in a blender just for a second, just to break up the chunks of the whole tomatoes. So I pulse this down just for a second so it's smooth. We have fresh basil leaves, and we have fresh mozzarella that I found in my grocery store that's already sliced. So I have a whole, let's see, this is 12 ounces of mozzarella, and it's sliced so it's perfect. I can just put the slices all over the top of the pie and then put it back under the broiler once it's ready to go. I forgot one other ingredient. Let me grab that real quick. Okay, what I forgot to get out and have ready was the Italian seasoning. This is Tone's. I buy this at Sam's Club. You can also get this at any Price Club. It's everywhere. But this Italian seasoning has oregano, thyme, rosemary, a few other Italian spices, and I'll sprinkle this on top as well as we go along. Now tonight I'm doing something a little bit different. Instead of just the tomatoes and basil and the fresh mozzarella, I'm adding chunks of meatballs on top of this pizza just for the heck of it, because I want to. It sounds like it would be good. So I'm going to do that tonight and just add a little bit of the meatballs. And these are the meatballs. I'll put the link up top here. The meatballs I made in a video a while back. Continue to make these extremely good. Okay, so let's get started. All we're going to do is take a little bit of olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, drizzle it on the bottom of the pan. Once it's on the bottom of the pan, I'm going to put this under the broiler for 5 minutes to get this pan nice and hot before we put that in. Okay, while that's under the broiler, all we're going to do here is just get this stretched out. And you can use a half a loaf if you don't want this to be a deep dish pizza. But I want the crust to be really thick. Make this a deep dish. Since we got the high pans, or the high sides of that cast iron skillet, you can have a nice thick crust. So there, that's about all we need Set that down right there. And as soon as that pan is warmed up, like I said, 5 minutes under the broiler to get that pan nice and hot, we're going to put this in there, cook it for, in my case I'm using a low setting on the broiler, so I'm going to cook it for 4 minutes. Bring it out, we're going to flip it, and then we're going to put the ingredients on and back under the broiler for about 8 to 10 minutes. Maybe less, maybe 5 minutes, depending on your broiler. So you really, the first time you make this, you're going to have to keep an eye on the pizza to make sure that cheese and everything doesn't burn on top. Okay, so we're ready to go here. I'm going to go check on the skillet and the oven, and as soon as it's ready, pull it out and show you what we do next. Okay, so here we are. Our pan is preheated. It is 320 degrees. 320 degrees with our handy dandy infrared scanner. So all we're going to do is take this dough and lay it in here. Get it spread out nice. You can start to hear it sizzle already. Okay, and then I'm going to put this right back under the broiler for about 4 minutes. Okay, so here we are. Now remember, this handle is extremely hot right now, so don't just go grabbing this. I have a pot holder here, but all we're going to do, you can see how the crust is nice and browned on top and starting to cook. All we're going to do is scoop underneath it, flip it, and you can see we got a nice thick crust. We're going to take our sauce, spread it around. This will flatten out again. It'll puff back up and flatten out evenly. But let's take our sauce, get it spread around real nice. Might as well put all of it on. Okay, got the sauce. Now, I'm going to take the basil, sprinkle the basil all over the pie. There's a nice big piece right there. Get this well covered with the basil. Now I'm going to add some chunks of meatball in here. Not your traditional margarita, but I don't care. This is how I want it tonight. If you want to add some olives, you want to add some pepperoni or mushrooms, whatever you want to do, go for it. Okay, so let's add our chunks of meatball. That looks pretty good. And then I'm going to take this Italian seasoning and just sprinkle a little of it over top, add to the flavoring. And now, remember I told you that we have the cheese sliced up, so you can just pull it out in chunks and put it on top of your pizza. I mean, it doesn't get much easier than this. This is pretty nice. I'm glad I found this. I think we're going to put one more right in the middle. I'll put a small one right here. Okay. And there we have it. Our margarita pizza is ready to go back in the oven at about maybe 8-10 minutes with the broiler set on low, and then I will bring this out and show you what it looks like. Wow, take a look at this, folks. I don't want to tip it too far, it's all going to run out of the skillet. You can see that, you can hear it. It is just sizzling in here and just begging to be eaten. This looks really good. So, very simple margarita pizza. It's deep dish. Look how thick the crust is. Works perfect in your Lodge cast iron 12-inch skillet. I have a review for that skillet right here. I'll put the link right here for you to take a look at. Check out the meatball episode as well. I'll put all the links even down in the description. I'll put the Amazon link for this pan down in the description. I think it's only $20. It's a very inexpensive cast iron skillet, but the quality is spectacular. And the versatility of it is amazing. I mean, we're cooking pizzas in the skillet under the broiler. Remember, everybody's broiler is different. Watch the pizza. You'll know when it's done. If you've ever cooked a pizza before, you know what to look for. The cheese starts to get a little brown on top. The crust gets nice and crunchy. It gets brown and well cooked. Pay attention. 8 to 10 minutes, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, depending on how hot your broiler gets and also how close you put it to the broiler. I put this in the middle of the oven. I didn't put it directly underneath it. So here's the broiler. I didn't put it right here because it'll burn too quick. I put it down in the middle of the oven. So play around with this recipe until you get the time and the placement in the oven just right. But I guarantee this is a simple, easy recipe to make. Great for a night after work or on the weekend. Try this margarita pizza. I'll put all the information below. Check me out on Pinterest, Twitter, and Facebook. Hit the thumbs up button below if you like this content. I'd appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button to come back once a week for new videos. Thanks for joining me. It's Bravo Charlie. See you next time.